Sometimes you find something in a video game that makes you think, what the f? Not this again. This is why today we're diving into the most haunted discoveries found in video games. Brought to you by War Thunder. War Thunder is an incredibly comprehensive vehicle combat game that you can play for free on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, where you can fight and destroy over 2,000 vehicles in dynamic PvP battles, which don't just take general damage, but actually break down and react based off the hits that each individual component meticulously modeled to every vehicle, with a damage x-ray that shows you specifically how the vehicle was destroyed. Play War Thunder using my link in the description or pinned comment down below and claim a limited time large bonus pack for new and returning players who've been inactive for the last 6 months. It includes premium vehicles, a premium account, an exclusive decorator, and more. Splatoon 3. Thanks to Levinboy, PyronGunter21, and Clayman55 for submitting this mystery on the Oddheader Discord. Splatoon 3 is the 2022 installment in Nintendo's ink-splattered shooter popular with all ages, which is certainly not an unfamiliar series for this channel, having been covered for a number of surprising discoveries. The latest discovery you wouldn't expect to find in Splatoon actually begins with the first game. We're on the Flounder Heights stage. Inside one of the top floor windows of the apartment buildings can be seen what looks like a terrifying ghost face spying on players down below. Yet since the ghost face doesn't seem to appear from all angles, some believe it was just a trick of the light. However, because Nintendo seemingly loves to scare the hell out of children, it appears to have been added back into the updated version of the map that appears in Splatoon 3, this time staring back at you from all angles. And for those of you still thinking we're just seeing things, it was confirmed by looking in the data of the game that the face texture is called Ghost Window in the files. Well, there's no denying it now. Some, though, believe the ghost face wasn't placed here without reason. It may be a reference to another ghostly face that can be found in the 2001 game Tora to Kuijutsu, which released only in Japan for the PlayStation 2. It's a pretty interesting game where you walk around and explore a small Japanese town with Japan's then unofficial Sony mascot Toro, also known as the Sony Cat. The game initially seems pretty innocent and relaxing, as you mostly just walk around town with no real objective, but one image in the game became the subject of debate in Japan for many years, as by visiting a location near an apartment complex only in the evening, an enlarged texture of a woman's face appears in one of the windows. Toro even seems to confirm there's something strange going on here, saying, hey, what's that over there? And then asks you to check it out with them because they can't see very well, yet they never say who or what is in the window, leaving it all a mystery. Theories for this one range from a trick of the light to an actual ghost face in the window captured on camera. To this day, the image has remained a mystery, and now for some reason the ghost has seemingly returned to Splatoon 3. So this is either an intentional reference to Tora to Kuijutsu, or we have a completely different ghost in the window we now have to worry about in Splatoon. Let's hope it's the first one. Homefront. The Revolution. Thanks to Foxes Are Cool for submitting this discovery on the Oddheader Discord. Homefront The Revolution is a first-person shooter released in 2016, where you play as a guerrilla fighter in a resistance movement. The game is most remembered among viewers of this channel for giving players 2 games for the price of 1, as an arcade machine in the game lets you play the entirety of Time Splitters if you input a secret code. Players also manage to find hidden areas that only become accessible when returning to them after completing specific events, that when found reveal brutally murdered bodies that don't seem to connect to the game. The first 3 victims are surrounded by lit candles and the message, "Take only what you need." I'm not taking anything from here. Next to each of the bodies is a set of notes that appear to be written by whoever's responsible, telling the story of someone performing experimental surgeries on unwilling victims because they believe themselves to be humanity's only hope for survival. In the notes, the killer seems to be getting increasingly angry that the victims are dying from their experiments rather than accepting their gifts, and says they are closer to finding a key because the voices are guiding their hand. Well, I guess those voices were wrong, because the last location has 2 bodies, implying the killer is no longer at large. The last note is addressed to the person who's been tracking them, saying they've failed to unlock the next step in human evolution, that mankind is not ready to ascend, and that they were not worth the great work assigned to them years ago. Seems like one hell of an assignment. The note ends saying they hope it brings you comfort in the coming dark, that someone was trying to prevent humanity's downfall. Yeah, real comforted. The bodies were revealed by one of the game's developers to be part of a cut secret mission he calls the Butterfly Killer, where players would have hunted down the serial killer, but was cut down due to time restraints. Which means what the hell any of this was supposed to mean, or what the Butterfly Killer was on about, is a mystery that may forever remain unsolved. Tokyo Xtreme Racer 3. Thanks to YeahIDunno, Aditya Eka Saputra, and Phi Nozomu for submitting this discovery on the Oddheader website and Discord. Tokyo Xtreme Racer 3 is a 2003 installment in the Japanese street racing game series where players cruise along Japan's highways at night challenging random cars to a racing battle. Despite the nighttime setting, there's nothing inherently creepy in this game, earning it an E for everyone. That is, unless you set your console's clock to a time between 2 and 4 a.m., when the game's most infamous boss may appear at random. The Death Driver is said to have crashed during a battle and was never seen again, except by those driving through the Kasumigaseki tunnel, where his car will appear on rare occasions and challenge you to a race. Those who accept his challenge and win can go back to the garage and buy the Death Driver's S15, and by taking the dead dude's car out for a spin. All the traffic vans along the highway that are normally yellow are now white and filled with creepy ghost faces in the windows who stare back at you. It's unclear what these ghostly kids' connection is to the Death Driver, but the developers are trying to make young players shit bricks when they saw this. They definitely did a hell of a job. Enter the Gungeon. Thanks to Nevernamed, TA, and BigGrowingBoy for submitting this mystery on the Oddheader Discord and website. Enter the Gungeon is a bullet hell dungeon crawler released in 2016 by indie publisher Devolver Digital. In the game, players make their way through a procedurally generated world in order to find a special gun that can erase the past. And because the game is procedurally generated, that makes it all the more difficult to solve one of the game's biggest unanswered questions. As in the game, players can unlock the teleporter prototype, which teleports them to a random room anywhere in the map, including on extremely rare occasions, a secret room way outside the normal map that contains only a single giant eyeball. Hello. It's especially improbable of players ever finding the eye because of the game's procedural generation, and the fact that no player has ever managed to find another way of accessing the room since the game's release. Adding to the creepiness, the eye follows the player's every move and appears to be indestructible. Once players who meet the eyeball are teleported away, they are rewarded with the Yellow Chamber, an item that has the ability to charm specific enemies and can only otherwise be unlocked by killing 10 mysterious enemies known as the Confirmed. The developers have revealed that the Yellow Chamber is a reference to an 1895 book, The King in Yellow, by Robert W. Chambers, a collection of supernatural horror stories. It's still unknown how likely it would be for one to come face to face, or rather eye to eye, with this eyeball, but given the fact that there's any chance of ending up here, I wouldn't pull the trigger on the teleporter prototype at all. Star Stable, The Autumn Riders. Thanks to Zixea for submitting this discovery on the Oddheader Discord. Star Stable is a kids' horse PC game first released in 2008 by Swedish developer Hidden Entertainment. Autumn Riders is the first game in the series where you do some typical non-spooky tasks like caring for horses and racing them. Zixea appears to have confirmed the theory that all horse girl games are haunted, as they were data mining the game when they came across an unsettling discovery. As in the data of the game, they found a file called Man-Bat. Since just the texture was data mined rather than the full 3D object, we can't see what the finished creature would have looked like. But these textures definitely show that Man-Bat was intended to be creepy as hell. Certainly doesn't look appropriate for a game about peacefully riding horses. Luckily for us, Zixea is also skilled at 3D modeling and tried to sculpt a head that would fit the Man-Bat texture, and in the process found out that Man-Bat does not fit a normal sized human head, confirming that he appears to be more bat than man. Zixea attempted to morph a head that would most likely fit the texture, and while they weren't able to get it all the way there, they revealed the shape of the head was likely something close to this. Holy shit. Is Man-Bat just a grown-up version of that Bat Boy guy I saw in the tabloids? It's unknown what Man-Bat's purpose is supposed to be, but I'm certain he's probably not here to just horse ride with the girls. Bip Bop. Thanks to Opti for submitting this on the Oddheader Discord. Bip Bop is a shareware DOS game which looks and plays an awful lot like Breakout. The Bip Bop trilogy was created by one unknown developer, D. Stewart Rifle, in 1993, for some reason under the name S&M Software. The first game in the series isn't particularly unusual, as you simply try to get the ball in the hole at the top of the screen. But the second game is where things take a bit of a turn out of left field. This time, players must hit tiles with Roman numerals on them that decrease with each hit and disappear when they drop to 0. Unless your ball hits a tile with a rather unexpectedly creepy face and glowing eyes, which resets your progress on the other tiles. For some reason, as things progress, things only proceed to get more odd. For instance, one level is completely dominated by this large teddy bear. But most disturbing of all is a close-up photo of a screaming man with blood on his face that appears in level 17. The game's credit states that this is a photo of Jerry Silverman from the short experimental film Sweet Pickles, but what that film is remains a mystery. Though someone claiming to be Jerry Silverman in a YouTube comment said it was a joke for a bunch of pre-internet teen dorks in Nowheresville suburbia. Wonder what the joke would have been. Even stranger, it also marks the appearance of this strange blob, who gives you meaningful quotes when you start the game such as, "Come on, Bop, I'll teach you about pain. Ham and Swiss on rye. Figure it out. Lick, 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 love me." What the fuck? For further explanation, do not look at Bip Bop 3, as it appears to be essentially the same game, except this time there's a story about a ruler of the universe from the S&M dimension who uses an army of dogs to embark on a propaganda campaign to convince the world that his ass isn't tiny. To this day, no one has ever managed to contact developer D. Stuart Riffle to figure out what exactly we're supposed to figure out about ham and Swiss on rye. Meaning the question of what any of this is supposed to mean, or exactly how f***ed up Stuart was on substances when he made this, is still a mystery. Teocida. Thanks to Feesh for submitting this mystery on the Oddheader Discord. Teocida is a 2021 horror game by indie developer Vikintor Interactive. As a game where you make your way through cryptic areas and secret passages inspired by religious symbolism and erotic nightmares, players have come across some pretty insane shit playing both Teocida and its precursor, Tamashii. The latest mystery to scare the hell out of players involves a secret room that can be found right at the beginning of the game, near the main menu screen. As turning to the right reveals a locked door and a document with some ciphers and some other coded messages written in French. It was found that the mysterious document, when decoded, revealed the sequence of buttons on the side of the door had to be clicked on in order for it to unlock. Once unlocked, it leads to a ladder down to a secret dungeon containing some documents with strange drawings, as well as a tablet which of course has another cipher. The cipher was translated by Sab on Discord to reveal a strange message in Portuguese, but with grammatical errors and other mistakes, as some Portuguese speakers on my Discord server pointed out, possibly done to further confuse the message. However, it's believed that the message is supposed to say, the matriarch warned us that the patriarch has allies. The fathers of the faith they call God and the devil both seek to erase the work of the devil. Right. And while that may be the end of the secret passageway, my friend and collaborator Slippy Slides managed to find something particularly unnerving while investigating the area, and managed to data mine something that may also be the work of the devil, as in the files were several disturbing images with the same label as all the other assets for the secret area, with no way to be seen in game that we know of. The images include the strange computer screen featuring a weird Medusa-looking head and intestines that's been known to inexplicably pop up for some players on rare occasions. But then there's also this image of, are those conjoined children? What the? Are these more secret areas in the game? The next series of images depict some strange unknown locations. While they're too dark to tell what they are, they appear as if they were taken by someone spying on another person's apartment. Slippy also found what looks like a mirrored image of another secret message in Portuguese. And we also got some weird dude's face. Dude, get out of here while there's still time. And now that we've seen a whole new set of unnerving images to lose sleep over, Slippy also found one final image with a message reading, "Super secret discovered. We don't know how you get this far. Your reward will be available in the hub area." Well, based on the only evidence we have of what that could be, I think I'll take a rain check on the reward. At least now we know to stay out of the hub area. And thanks again to WarThunder for sponsoring this video. WarThunder is endlessly detailed and features a collection of over 2,000 vehicles that spanned over 100 years of development, from the 1920s to present, which can also be customized endlessly with hundreds of camouflages, historical markings, and many other 3D decorators. Personally, I love the smooth aerial combat and different levels of immersions for all playstyles, such as the intuitive mouse aim mode alongside simulator-style controls. Play WarThunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, and for a limited time using my link in the pinned comment or video description down below. Both new and returning players who've been inactive for the last 6 months can claim a large bonus pack with multiple premium vehicles, a premium account, an exclusive 3D decorator for your vehicle, and much more. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and if you know of any other video game discoveries that made you think your game was haunted, submit through oddheader.com, come join the Discord, or even send me a shout through Twitter or Reddit. And thanks again to Slippy Slides for helping get the footage in this video. Feel free to subscribe to him down below as well. Shout out to Angel the Fox, Ash Photography, BitWiff27, Chad Biscuit, Ed Moffat, Eddie Talkspin the Bleach Primate, Flex, Justin Blackwood, Miss Arctic Foxy, Phoenix157, Rackman22, Red Team Medic, Riley S, Robert Eisenman, Rolkot Mifulua, Starcore2, Taryn Stock, and Towerizer for their Patreon support. Stay tuned.